I want to welcome everyone here. I think we have, what is it, channel 12, 25,
And 5.
and 5.
Yeah, all 3.
I want to welcome you guys. First of all, I want to give thanks to our Creator. The other thing, I want to thank Rosa for, I don't know if I should thank her, but she was the one who hooked me into doing this. But I think it's a very worthwhile venture. First of all, what I'm going to do is we have some dignitaries and politicians and people in the House that we want to recognize. On the agenda is Dane Wallen. Now, right now, what I want to do is give you just a brief synopsis of why we're doing this, and I think you will agree. We have a lot of our youth today. This conference was to air and invite all of our high school students, junior school students, to participate in the name and a logo design for the historical museum. And we just want to air that. Hopefully the media will get that out to let everyone know. The other piece is that there is a lot of history that our youth doesn't know about. So if you don't know where you come from, it's very difficult for you to know where you're going and how to get there. So our slogan is, together we stand, divided we fall. And what we need to do is pool our resources together. And I think that we'll be able to achieve those things that some of our great leaders, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, and some of the rest of them have fought so diligently for. And like I said, what we need to do is keep that up, and I think that we've kind of slipped. Civil rights, human rights, those things now are vanishing very fast because of whatever, politics. And I think we are taking a wooden nickel on a lot of things that is happening out there. There's a lot of groups that are hoodwinking the basic civil rights and human rights. And they're using that as a diversion for the civil rights. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you our mayor, the city of Flint, Dane Wallen.
Thank you and good afternoon. I want to thank the Flint Civil Rights Historical Committee that has worked so hard to bring this effort to this point, and to reiterate the call that this committee has made. We're looking for students anywhere in this Flint area, mid-Michigan region, who has an interest in this civil rights movement of yesterday, of today, of the future, to help this committee name the museum, to develop a logo, so that we have a way to communicate to a broad audience. I think it's been noted that we have in this area a tremendous history around civil rights activism, and that goes back through United Auto Workers and the civil rights organizing, the fact that the city of Flint was the first city of any size in this country to pass by referendum the Fair Housing Ordinance. We have a great history, and we need to recognize that. We need to support this committee in their work so that we can have a museum that really shows us and shows the rest of the country and the world the rich history that we have here. It's also appropriate at this time because of the extraordinary challenges that we face today. This is a movement that needs to continue. It's a movement that continues to face struggles each and every day. So we have an additional responsibility at this time to ensure that this community is again connected to the 21st century civil rights movement, and we continue to advocate for equality around education and housing and in the workplace, and we do that for people of all colors and all religions, and all really the best of what the civil rights movement has always stood for. So let me again just thank the Flint Civil Rights Historical Committee for their hard work. Let me ask our students to please get involved in this process. Send us your ideas. Put together your logo designs for this committee so that we can have a museum named and designed in a way that will attract interest and really bring the kind of attention that this effort deserves. So thank you, Councilman. I'll turn the lectern back over to you to bring up the rest of our elected officials here. Thank you.
It's a great day in the city of Flint. And like Matt Taylor, Councilman Matt Taylor, I too was drawn here by the wonderful magnetism of Mrs. Taylor.
And some eggs.
This is a smartphone. I think she ordered exactly what I meant. Maybe better, yeah. It's just a library. I have an open book. But I apologize for that. I too was drawn here by the invite of Ms. Rosa Murphy, and we cannot refuse. If any of you all know Ms. Murphy, she will not take no for an answer. And she invites you to these things. But this is a wonderful day. It's a wonderful event. We can recognize the Flint Civil Rights Historical Museum to commemorate the actions of the past. You know, it has a Civil Rights Historical Museum. You know, we commemorate those actions of those who came before us to fight for things in this community that we all benefit from, regardless of color, economic status, or where we reside in this community. You know, before we move to this, finding a home for this museum to commemorate those actions of the people in the past, you know, it's a challenge. You have to carry those memories in your heart, in your mind, and in your soul, your spirit. But we carried those memories for so long, and now we're looking for a place to house a museum where our children, for the generations to come, can come to look at all the challenges that we faced before. So we leave us something for the next generation, which is a powerful, powerful thing. And we cannot go to sleep. We cannot go to sleep with the will, because we still have challenges before us. We cannot come to visit a museum, a historical museum, to look at the past and also look at maybe what could be our future if we go to sleep. We still have actions to come. We still have fights in this community for civil rights, for civil liberties, for action. And we have to empower our young people to take those challenges up, to take the banner of civil rights and move forward. We have a lot of apathy in our community today, and I think this is going to be one of the first steps of educating the young people to not be so apathetic, to not be discouraged, to be empowered. We are empowered in this community. Flint was the precipice of change throughout America. Open housing, some of the things in our champions went across the country and championed many movements, but we were the first in many different things. The first urban community to have an African-American mayor. Isn't that a great thing? His grandchildren are still here, and his great-grandchildren will be here. These are the things that I was fed as a child from my parents. And we are today going to be educating children. So I welcome all of you to encourage those young people, and I welcome you all to help with this effort, to help find a house so we can put these memories up so children can recognize all of the challenges that we once faced and overcame. Thank you so much for being here today. Continue to fight. Continue to fight. Continue to fight.
Good evening, everyone.
All right.
Good evening.
I'm making you think ahead of time. In 1981, at the age of 25, I came to the city of Flint. And I'm from paradise, Bermuda. The island of Bermuda, where we have 340 days of sunshine, sea breezes, seagulls, lapping water, and tourists who flood to our island to see what it's all about. I don't remember anybody from Flint coming. I'm sure they did. I was only 17 when I left, went to Europe for a year in school, traveled throughout Europe, went to Alabama for my pre-med education, went to Nashville at Meharry Medical College, which had a pipeline north to Detroit and Flint for its African-American population of physicians, dentists, etc. and we descended upon the city of Flint en masse. Eventually things changed, and I am a relic from the past, whereby there aren't very many African American students coming any longer to the city of Flint to train and to do their residencies in medicine. That needs to change. We need to fix that. But when I came here, I started my practice in 1984. And very soon after I started my practice, in walks a gentleman by the name of John Hightower. He became a patient of mine, and we had a long and affectionate relationship as doctor and patient. When I first saw him, he was very ill. Many of you may have known that. And as I sat at his bedside while we're nursing him back to health, he would sit and talk to me about Flint. He told me all kinds of stories. I was completely enamored with this man's recall and his detail of information and the fights and struggles down through the decades prior to my arrival to Flint. Floyd McCree became a patient, Hugh Semple, and others, and John Harvey. And I would interface with these gentlemen. We had some others who came who couldn't hang with my long waiting room time and moved on. Mr. Bashir, I won't hold that against you. But when you come to my office, you will sit for a while, and some people just had too much to do. But he still loves me, and I know that.
I certainly do.
And so as I sat listening to Mr. Hightower, I listened to others. You all may know the name Sokita, Willie Nolden, many people who gave me history of Flint. And I began to say, somebody needs to record this because I don't think it is. And so I put together an outline for Mr. Hightower from his birth to the time that he was with me. And he wrote a book. It contains lots of historical information. There's the book called Bronze Pillars, you're familiar with.
Yes.
And there may be other history books. I have no agenda except that a people who have had a history remember it so that they don't repeat it. And so as Mr. Hightower passed, he moved on. I was asking John Harvey, I said, Mr. Harvey, who can do this for us? He said, if you want to get anything done, ask Rosia Anderson Murphy. I laid hands on her, and indeed, as soon as she got retired, she has gone full force with this. Miss Anderson Murphy, we really appreciate what you're doing. This is a vision that people will look back on and be so thankful that this got started. God bless you as we move forward with this project, and we will be in prayer that it will go without corruption, without secondary agendas, without manipulation of any kind, but this will just be for a people not to repeat history in any form, and that our youth can come out of confusion in the streets, come out of destroying one another, and see a vision and have a purpose for their lives. Thank you.
Hello, everyone that I haven't said hi to this afternoon. I want to thank you for being here, and I do want to give special kudos to the media, because the only way we can do this is with the support of the media. You have to be our partners in this, and I do appreciate it. I just want to tell you personally how I appreciate you being here. Now, we've talked about some of the things we were going to house, and we don't want to keep repeating ourselves, but we do want to let the students in the Flint area, the middle and the high school students, know that we do have this contest, and that the contest will start today, which is April the 25th. The deadline for the contest is June 8th. We will announce the winner of the contest on June the 22nd. I want to give you an email address, so if you need more information, you can get it. The email address is Flint, CRHM, @AOL.com. Now, if you need a post office box, if you need snail mail address. That address will be Rosier Murphy, Post Office Box 66, Flint 48501. Now, I don't have everything has been said, and I just thank you for coming, and I will step away and let Matt continue.
Good afternoon. Well, I too want to thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. When Rosa spoke to me about creating the museum, I thought, what a grand idea. You know, this is exactly what Flint needs, because as Rosa can tell you, working in the Human Relations Commission office, the information, there's just so much information out there. And we know that there's information all around the city, because here at the library there's information, at Sloan Museum there's some information, and other sites. But we need a home for a museum so that our children will know what Flint has become, what it was in the past, and where we're going. And so I am just pleased to be a part of the committee. As most of you know, Rose and I worked together in the Human Relations Commission's office. I was her boss. Now she's my boss in this
Yeah,
area.
right.
So we're having a grand time doing this. And I would encourage all of our members to make sure you're attending the meetings, because I know we've had several meetings where some of the members I haven't met before. And so I'm looking forward to working with all of the members, and we're looking forward to getting this off the ground, becoming a nonprofit, so that we can actually grow the museum. So I'm grateful to work with the committee, and I think it's a grand idea and a long-term coming for the city of Flint and the greater Flint area. We're not just in the city, but there's surrounding areas as well that people have worked with us, and people have been involved in civil rights over the years. So I'm just thankful, and I appreciate the work that's being done. Thank you.
I've already been introduced by Magistrate Bashir. I had no intentions of speaking at all. Dr. Musuem put me on blast earlier, and so I got two to get even with. But I'm very interested in this memorial. History is something that is incomplete in our society, especially African Americans. So Flint history, the civil rights history, way out on the branches, but it's better to do a little bit of something and not to do a whole lot of nothing. So what you're doing with this memorial is going to speak volumes to our kids and their kids, because it's something, as the mayor stated, that's in place. It's going to go forward. So I applaud the committee, and I'm hoping for you to have a lot of success, because your success is my success, or our success. So call on me when you've called on everybody else, and I'll give you a 100% support. But in seriousness, I'm here for you. I may not be a part of the committee, but any assistance that I can give, feel free to call me. I'm going to give you my cell phone number, 908-9088. Is my phone ringing yet? So thank you very much. Take care.
Well, anyway, I appreciate Councilman Taylor. And here I am following Dane again. I want you folks to know this isn't a sequel to Titan. On this one, we're all on the same page, especially me. Civil rights is very important, and I want to put things in context. During Malcolm X time, he said by any means necessary. Dr. Martin Luther King said the price of freedom is expensive. And Nelson Mandela said our march to freedom is irreversible. They're all saying the same thing. We have some conservative elements in this country, in this county, and in this city that want to dilute the rights that all of us have gained through the civil rights movement. We have to be very vigilant in our efforts to educate our youth on the price that a lot of people that we know paid for us to have the freedoms we have today, to live in the neighborhoods that we live in today, and attend the colleges and schools that we attend.
Yeah.
They have the Holocaustic Museum for the murder and extinction of the Jews. We need a civil rights museum here to let you know on the passage coming here, we lost just as many people. During the civil rights movement, we lost many people. And we need to let them know that you must know where we all came from, Councilman. And I have a problem sometimes. I take for granted the liberties that we have. And that's something that we should never do. I love the United States of America. Just because my people didn't come over on the Mayflower, the people that did are no more important than me and my family. And we must let every citizen in this community know that we must not let anyone take away our rights. Our right to vote, our right to decide who to elect to keep how many police we want in our city, our rights to do the things that we in a democracy deserve to do. If you don't think civil rights is important, go pick a copy of the latest budget that was delivered to the Flint City Council. God bless you.
I'm interested in this. I was born and raised right here in Flint. Attended Flint Central High School right across the way. And so I have a very personal interest in this. And I'm also heavily involved in the community, working with the youth quite a bit. I work in a lot of different schools. I work in a lot of community centers. So I see the youth very closely, and we are very much disconnected from the elements that a lot of these gentlemen have spoken of today, which are the history of not only our people, but our city in particular. For example, I work with kids making music on particular subjects, and in February we made songs about Black history. And it disturbed me because most of the kids only knew Martin Luther King, and that was it. We asked them, okay, tell me what you know about Black history, tell me what you know about the history of the civil rights struggle, and they know Martin Luther King, and that's it. So I think events like this, museums like this are going to raise that awareness and really put things in their proper place where they should be within this city. And myself, I am willing to contribute in whatever way that I may be able to, if I can be of any resource, of any help to anyone that's trying to make something happen within this movement. That's the reason I'm here today. And so, if I can be that person to help spearhead the movement to another audience of people, which may be the people that are my age and younger, the people that are my age and younger. I am a person who can make some things happen in regards to that, and I am willing to do so. And so I appreciate this opportunity, very much honored by this, and I thank you all for coming. I think this is an important day, and God bless you all, and I hope to see you all in the future making some positive things happen for our city.
All right.
You know, since this is about getting young people involved, I mean, be remorse for not bringing up a young person, and I think that he said it best. He can recruit the young people that we can. He can talk to the audience because he speaks their language, and they respect what he's accomplished, what he's doing. And he's the kind of young man, the kind of person that we need to spearhead a lot of these things. So appreciate your comments, Mr. Dorsey. I look forward to working with you. What we want to do at this point, we want to open up the floor. If anybody got any other comments, you know, I don't want to miss anyone. We don't want to exclude anyone. We're trying to get everybody involved in this, and so we want to leave here with a sense of everyone going out, talking to your neighbor, your mother, your sister, your brother, whoever. And this is from all walks of life. This is what is called civil rights, you know, commission. And so what we want to do is, if you want to say something, now is the time. I don't think you guys said anything yet. Would you like to say something? There's one thing about our folk. I ain't trying to indict nobody, but we got one.
In all things purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers. But we gotta be one, like the hand, in all things beneficial to our mutual progress. This museum, I think is beneficial to our mutual progress. I think educating our youth on our history so that they don't repeat it is beneficial to our community as a whole. So I want you to know that on behalf of the Juneteenth Committee, our 23rd year of celebrating African American independence, we're behind you 100%. Whatever you need from the committee, our activities, our festivities are at your disposal to help inform the community about this great project.
We got our own cameraman within the organization.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, no one else want to speak?
I'm really not a speaker, I don't but I will say this.
Oh, okay.
We're not like the preachers.
That's
We don't
all right,
have
that's
2
all right.
minutes.
I'm really honored to be on this committee. I was born and raised in Flint, and don't mind telling you how old I am. So I'm 73 years old, so you know I've been here a long time. And I've seen a lot of the things that everybody's talking about. I've lived through a lot of the things that you're talking about. So I am elated to have you to work on a museum for the city of Flint, because I see it. It just comes back to I remember everything that happened to me. And I lived through the racial problems. I lived through the turmoil that we have. Born and raised on St. John Street, so you know I had a hard time. But we had a good life, and just in that little community, people thought we were disadvantaged. We had a wonderful life, a wonderful life. So, you know, I would like for people to know what kind of life we did have, how we were raised, and the fun and the things that the kids are doing nowadays, we wouldn't have, it didn't cross our mind. Because we had so much to do. We had community centers, we had people, even just say the Girl Scouts. We just had everything that we needed in order to satisfy a child. So I am really happy I said I wasn't gonna say nothing. I am so happy to work on this committee, and I will do anything Rosa and anyone needs for me to do to make it a success.
All right.
It seems that when we meet, we neglect a very integral part that is our problem. And we need to move from the problem to a solution, to the family, our homes. You can have the best laid program. You can put up a beautiful memorial. But if that feeding system, that family unit, is not strengthened and strong, you're just going to birth some more of the problem. So I don't know how to address it particularly, and I think that has to go with the coming together as expressed by Heron here, coming together. There's no one segment politically, religiously, educationally, law, labor, politics, religion, sex, war, whatever. It all has to come together for the benefit of our community. And even though this is a civil rights museum, the museum is necessary because of injustices of the past. If we had something that people are afraid to talk about, which is a system of justice, there wouldn't be any need for a Hispanic caucus, African American caucus, or no other caucus, because people would be getting what they need. Justice says, and you give the most constructive help for the ones who need it. If we had a system like that, which we do not, then it wouldn't be in the need for a lot of, we would have a lot of the problems that we have, and we'll be moving towards solving solutions for people, rather than getting this segment pitted against that segment, black, brown, red, and yellow. There's a battle between black, brown, red, and yellow, and white supremacists. We need to look at these things, and we need to bring it back home and go forward to make our community better. Thank you.
Mr. Bashir said something very important, and I want to give a perspective to it. We cannot fix every family. We cannot fix every home.
Exactly.
But just as America is a home, Michigan is a home, Genesee County is a home, Flint is a home. And for those young people who are living in madness with no possible hope of having a domicile like you and I may have, this particular venture here, with the spirit of family together, will create a home here in the city of Flint that many people can feel like I belong to something. So thank you for that perspective.
And thank you for putting together the context that you did.
Amen.
Very good. Very good. So, okay, so no one else got anything to say? No. What, we want to thank everyone for coming out. Remember the meetings, Friday at 1 p.m. at Bethel United Methodist Church. That's on 1309 North Ballinger Highway. I think everybody knows where that is. You're welcome. Where's John? Benjamin. John 12.
This Friday,
20
2 days from now.
2 days from now, right?
Matt, we said that for your benefit, 2 days from now.
Okay. All right. We'll adjourn. Thanks for everybody coming.